help you develop and grow your brand in a more authentic and sustainable way, locally and globally. Whether it's your personal brand or company brand, your product or service level brand. Learn from thought leaders from different parts of the world, from CEOs, business owners, managers, experts who are in the spotlight to tell their brand stories and share their first-hand insights. My name is Brigitte Bojkowszky. I'm the founder and owner of BridgetBrands, a branding strategy boutique offering online courses, workshops, one-on-one exclusive coachings, and I help my clients craft meaningful strategies so they can unleash their full potential to effectively elevate their personal and organizational brands and shine. Now, let's get started and dive with me into the world of brands in a rather different way today.
Yes. Hello, everyone. I am taking over BrandsTalk. It's been arranged, though. She's okay with it. We have a very special episode today, and I'm going to turn the mic on Bridget, and I am going to ask her the questions. I am Rachel LeRoy, founder of HipMaps. I create custom maps with a modern twist, and I was a guest on Bridget's show. And now I want to ask her the questions because I'm sure I'm not the only one who wants to learn more about Bridget and what makes her shine so brightly. So, are you ready, Bridget?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. Yay, this is going to be
So,
fun.
yeah, it's going to be fun.
Um,
Really fun to just be a guest today instead of playing the host.
and I've never played the host before, so hopefully my questions are good.
Oh, sure. I bet. All right.
Okay, first one is, how do you describe what a personal branding strategist does?
Absolutely. So, in general, everything can be branded. So, branding is to infuse meaning into something. So, making a product or service, an experience, an idea, a cause, or a process meaningful to stand for something, making it expressible, occupy a position in and create a perception in others' minds. That can be your audience, your listeners, your clients, in stakeholders, whoever that is. And it's really attaching meaning to something, respectively, making something relevant, likable, distinctive, and most importantly, making a difference in other people's lives. I do that for brands, all kinds of brands, organizational brands, their products, their services, their experiences, and also the individual. So, personal branding is all about branding a person. It's empowering a person's brand, helping individuals discover, define, and design their person, so their personal brand, and really helping them unleash their full potential to be the best version of themselves. And there are some people that are the best kept secret and often do not know what makes them special, unique, and distinguishable. So that needs to be discovered, that needs to be understood, that needs to be brought to consciousness and then leveraged so that you can self-advocate, you can self-promote and then advance your career within an organization, or you start your own business, or it's about your personal life. So whatever you have been dreaming of and you desire, and have a better and most of all a more joyful life, that it is all about being happy. And only when you understand and comprehend who you are and what value you can bring to the world, when you are truly you and when you are connected with your, we call it your inner wisdom, right? Only then you can truly shine and be at your best, and also thereby you inspire others. So that's personal branding. That's what a personal branding strategist does.
I love it. Wow. Yes. Don't be the best kept secret. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how did you end up where you are now? What was your journey like? I know you've got some very interesting like the most interesting path I think I've heard in a long time. So tell us about your journey,
Yeah,
please.
it's a very unconventional path, an unconventional journey. So it's really an interesting questions and interesting question. And to cut a very long story, a long journey short, I've gone from being a flight attendant to a student to a corporate to a professor and now a business owner. So that's me. So that's kind of my life journey. And it's as we said, it's a rather atypical story, and some parts of my journey were more fun and exciting, and other parts really hard and painful. And I would say with lots of setbacks and major obstacles in the way to eventually, get there where I'm now. And the interesting thing is, in hindsight, it all makes sense. It does not make sense when you are within these detours and major obstacles and you don't know how to solve it. So then you think, oh my God, what is this all about in my life? But it makes sense at the end of the day. And just to dive a little bit deeper into my life stages. So my first job in my life was working as a flight attendant at an airline called Lauda Air. And this airline was owned by the former Formula One car race driver Niki Lauda. And there's actually a movie about him on Netflix called Rush. You should watch it. It's really interesting about his life from a Formula One car race driver to an airline owner. And yeah, so I flew for him, and my goal was I wanted to see the world, to break out of my small little, boxed in life, to being kept my best kept secret actually, yeah, and to be kept safe. So I wanted to see the world. I wanted to get to know the world and the people in these different faraway countries. So I wanted to know how they tick, what their wants are, their likes are, their desires, their struggles, their needs, and what ultimately makes them happy. So I also figured out that I always wanted to serve people. So offering them a service, being a host. And I really liked that. And so I liked flying, and I have to admit, I loved the long haul flights to go to Los Angeles and Miami and Sydney and all these different destinations. And yeah, when being on the go and flying 24 days a month, going back and forth, and you get to know the cultures when you stay there for a week or 10 days. Yeah, you get to know the mentalities and also the people. And then that's when I got interested in brands, because I looked at the different brands and what brands they buy, they use, they desire, they admire, and what they value about them. So I really, really got interested in this behavior, in this, what is it all about these brands. And every time I was in a big city, such as in Singapore, in Sydney, in Bangkok, LA, Miami, you name it, I followed these brands over time, and I did my window shopping tours and I learned about them, and I observed others, how they experience brands, in the streets, in the restaurants, in the hotels, and in the subways, basically everywhere. And that was so much fun. And then also when I eventually bought them, because at that time it is, how many years is this ago? 30 years ago. It was not like now that you have smartphones and that you can track everything so easily. And brands were not that global as they are now. So it was always like, oh my God, I have a brand, I bought that in the United States or in Australia or in Thailand or here and there. So this was really kind of already a sports. Yeah. So it was fun. And that's what was the time when I really became a global person, understanding all this, motives and why people do things. But at the same time, I felt like, so I was climbing up the career ladder and became also chef de cabin. And yeah, there was no room to grow for me anymore. And I thought there needs to be more in life than flying from A to B and sitting on an island when it's like raining for a week and you don't know what to do. So I reached the ceiling and I was so young. I was 24 years old and I thought, oh my God, this cannot be going on for the rest of my life. And there was an end date anyway with 36 because 36 was the age when when the contract automatically terminated. We had to be young, you know. Um, yeah.
Wow.
So everyone who reached that age had to actually leave the company. So, with knowing all of that, I knew I have to do something else. So I decided to become a student. Yeah. So I went to school. When others already finished their studies, I started. So anyway, since I loved being an international person, I loved brands. So it made sense for me to study international marketing and management. And on top of it, I did this education. So I combined both international marketing management and business education. So by doing that, I'm automatically a certified teacher. So I studied that with a focus on international marketing and management and personal development and further education. And my goal was to go back to the airline industry because it was where I was coming from. It was my life. I was infected by this, may I say so, a virus, because when you are an airliner, it's like a virus. You never can get rid of it. It's in you. It's airplanes. The airline life is its own life, and it's really, really interesting and desirable, I would say. So, but at that time, the airline industry was really shaped by mergers and acquisitions, and so they were rather firing than hiring. So there was no way going back for me at that time. And then I worked for other companies, and especially, and then I worked for a company. They had this autocratic leadership style, and I really didn't feel well. And there was an opening at the university to do a PhD in international marketing and management. So I applied for that and I got the job out of, I think, 100 applicants. I was like, yeah, I got it. That means something. So I did my PhD in that. And after that, I finished within time. I was finished before the program even ended. And I taught one semester at the University of Missouri in St. Louis, international management, but with the aim to go back to Austria and go back to the industry. I never wanted to stay as a professor because I really want to be with people. I want to be in a company, or I want to, consult companies or do coachings, working with people, helping, empowering, supporting. And yeah, I always was the person to rather look inside into companies and help from outside than being within a company for a long period of time. But I was not there yet. Yeah, so I started with an international real estate company that did a lot of development in Eastern Europe. And then, 2008, does it ring a bell? There was the financial crisis. So I think I was 4 months into starting this job, building up the market research department, and the company went bankrupt. So the university at the same time asked me if I want to take on more teaching, so teaching more classes. I said yes. So that's how I suddenly found myself being a professor at the university. So it's then, yeah, when I started teaching at different universities at the same time, because the universities do not pay well. This is the least amount of money. I don't know what you can earn. So I had to take on several jobs to teach in order to support the living. And then I became full-time at the university here in Vienna, the Business University, and taught also at other universities in Austria just to make a living. So that's how I became then the professor. Yeah, until
Wow.
2020. Yeah.
That is a lot of transition
Yeah.
from wearing one hat to another role to the next hat to the next thing. And so when you transitioned into a business owner, what what was easy? But you know, you already had done all these transitions. So what was easy? What was hard? Were you surprised by anything when you transitioned to the place you are now?
Yeah, I mean, as you say, it was really kind of a roller coaster ride altogether, because each company, each university, they all have their own organizational company, whatever it is, culture. So as kind of an adjacent, or always being part of it for a temporary or a limited amount of time, you always have to kind of fit in, adapt, or kind of cope with all of that different cultures. So you learn to basically stand on your own, and try to make sense of things, and take the best things out of it, and try to, yeah, to um, um, yeah, fit into the, for the time being that you are there. Yeah, and then in 2020, it was in February, my 8-year temporary contract with the university ended, terminated. So yeah, that was just a few days before COVID rolled in. And I knew this was coming, that my contract is going to end. It was inevitable. And that's why I already prepared. I planned for my building my own business, and I knew I want to become a solopreneur, because I definitely do not qualify as an employee. It's just impossible. So, because, as a professor at the university, you do your own planning, especially when you are adjacent, and when you are just a teaching professor, and not being part of a whole kind of team that is permanent. And so yeah, and I wanted to maintain that. Yeah, and once you enjoy designing your own lifestyle, your own day, you do not want to go back to being told what you have to do, and what the limits are and the boundaries are. So I always wanted to make my own decisions, work on my own schedule, take responsibility for what I'm doing, and I want to be in charge. And I already did workshops, as a sideline, and I was successful. And so, for example, I did a training for brand managers of for branch managers of an organic drugstore chain with more than 20 stores, and it was really about leading in alignment with the company's vision and mission and values. And it was really a blast, and I loved it so much. And you know why? Because it's so beautiful and rewarding, seeing how in each individual, each person after the workshop leaves with the feeling of being in his or best self, and through the alignment with the organization's overall goals, helping them being inspired and thrive, and so the individual and the company as a whole. And I find that's really rewarding. This is why I'm doing that, because everyone understands, and suddenly realizes, yeah, this is me, and this is what I want for my life. And that really goes in alignment also with the organization I'm working for. So this is really beautiful when you see how their eyes are opening up, and this understanding, having this epiphany. So anyway, yeah, but then COVID rolled in, and everything came to this stop, and I thought I haven't even started yet. So I had to pivot and be creative and come up with another business model. So basically reinventing myself and my business from the beginning. And at the same time, I continued teaching at the universities, because they needed me. There were courses to teach, and they asked me to teach another semester and one more semester. But when COVID hit, everything wasn't shifted online overnight. So students had to leave from Austria, and my course students were people from all over the world. I sometimes had 14 different nationalities in my courses. So they had to fly home in the next 24 48 hours, back to their families and continue studying online. So I was here in Austria, then I knew, okay, these guys are arriving in Singapore, these guys are arriving in Los Angeles, in New York, blah, blah, blah. And then getting these guys together again to continue teaching the course that I just started, in that semester.
Wow.
So that was a massive change. And at the same time, it opened the doors and the opportunities. Because I thought what I can do as a professor within a university, I might be able to do as a business owner, start my own courses. That's what I want to teach for everyone else, right? But in general, the learnings that I take away from this shift, you asked me what was easy, what was not easy, is that this shift, first of all, opened the doors to understand where I had to pivot to. It seemed like also COVID being a detour, because it kind of, it messes up with your business model. You can't just continue how you have it planned. So very often these detours are triggered by these external factors that you cannot factor in, because you don't know this is coming up, but everything has a silver lining. And it's really about you, whether you recognize these opportunities, and then what are you doing with this opportunity. And what I did, I started my own podcast, and the goal was to get my voice out there, to overcome my imposture or deal with it in a better way. So that was my first goal with being out there, being present, creating awareness in the market. With a podcast, it was in Europe, it was rather a new tool, a new communications channels to connect with the world. And for me, I was conditioned to play small and go with the flow, not attracting attention and do not make a noise. And it's like the way of how we employees are more or less conditioned. And this is not the way a business owner can do business, right? Because we have to create attention. We have to break through the clutter, through the noise, make ourselves, our products relevant and distinctive and distinguishable. So you must actually unlearn everything you're taught as an employee, or in my generation, in my sphere, in the society, in my habitat I grew up with, or in just to unlearn that, because I'm allowed to play big and I'm allowed to make noise, to stand up for something. So what I want to say is, when you start your business, you have to shift your mindset from, especially for me as an educator, as an academic, as a teaching professor, where everything is served on a silver tablet or silver tray, you call it silver tray, is that you have to really have to take on another perspective on things. You have to have a business owner's mindset. So I started my podcast, as I said, and then I tried to figure out all the opportunities I have, and then arrive at the best possible solution to serve my market with the experience that I've gathered, the know-how and the skills. So it was a rough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are really good at seeing the silver linings. Really, all of these roller coasters, and you're able to identify the silver linings and the way to move forward. I love this conversation. This is great.
It's really going deep, and it's not just the opportunities that are out there, but it's so much hard work. You have to really take your time. You need to go on such a, we call it self-discovery mission. You are doing that deep work, It's you are doing an introspection. It's sometimes really hard to look at yourself and to go into it and do this work and figure out who you are, what you want, what are your strengths, where is room, let's say, room for improvement. Yeah, where are the blind spots? Being in conversations with other people, getting this feedback, constructive feedback, sometimes not really easy feedback to take. Oh wow, this is it's really taking a lot, and then reflecting on it and what is really something I should take and look at and integrate, and what is not my thing and belongs to the other person. So you need to figure out strategies, and there are strategies out there, and that's why I'm a personal branding strategist, because I went through all of it. I know what it means, to go through the whole process to figure out what is your big why, what is the purpose, why you're on earth, why you are breathing, why you are here, what is the legacy you want to leave behind. So this is some work to do.
Yeah. And you've hinted at it, but what is your big why and your purpose?
Yeah, so it took me a while, and I also wrote a book chapter about it. So because this book deal came right in the time, and I was questioning myself, hell, what am I here for? So it is a co-production, a book project written by 21 other unstoppable and significant and courageous women. It's called Significant Women Leaders Reveal What Matters Most. And I wrote a book chapter about my life journey, about my pain of being an imposter, of playing small, of all this brain, this brain talk, this trash talk, this what you're making up, what kind of stories you have in your mind that are not real, and kind of shifting your mindset. So the book is titled "My Pain Became My Purpose." So and writing this book chapter already tremendously healed. And what I figured is making brains shine. Yeah. So that is basically part of my vision. It's playing big, understanding the uniqueness each person and each organization has or owns. And this really has become my purpose, my North Star, my big why. It's about helping people and organizations and companies and their products, their brains, to make them shine. It's creating a world of shining brains. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. Yeah, so it's really focusing on providing these individuals and these companies with clarity and self-worth, and some practical knowledge about being their best. So, and what I can do, I can use on one side, and I think that's a real asset. It's my academic intelligence, of teaching 22 years at the university and also being a certified teacher, and my private sector know-how as another pillar, and my global cultural experiences I gathered through all, the teaching at the different universities around the world, and through the time as a flight attendant. Yeah, and really put that together, bring that together to help others be the best and shine. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And all these detours and this setback and rejections, I have learned that these are the times when you are growing most, when you are leaping, when you are really getting into your zone of genius, I would say, because it's the time when you are, yeah, it's the pain, it's the suffering, what makes you creative, what makes you innovative, and have a different perception on life. And it's when you let go of things. Before that, you can't let go. But it's like, okay, there's nothing. What the worst that can happen is that I die. So you just let go of everything, and then a new perspective can come in. This is kind of an exchange of energy that is beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And what you're talking about with the mindset work and the personal branding work and finding our whys and our purposes, that's really, really hard to do on your own. It is so much better. And I'm not even sure you could ever get to where you could get on your own without help. You really need the help. So, what for your clients? What are their pain points? Can you tell us a little about the clients and how you help them with their journeys?
Yeah, so I have clients. So if we kind of bring it down to the from the top to the bottom, it's B2C, so businesses and individuals. The businesses here, I like to work with women businesses. Yeah, so it can be startups, it can be solopreneurs, entrepreneurs. I coach them to set up branding strategy to best position them in the market. And it's a very strategic approach. It's not that I come up with and formulate a narrative and do everything for them and um, provide it for them, and they just take that what I come up with as a consultant, and they try to implement it. So it is more so that I'm empowering them with what they already know but don't know they know. Yeah. So it is really unleashing their superpower. It's guiding them as they are the hero in their journey in setting up their own business. I mean, they do that because they have a reason for it. They do that instinctively, but making things conscious and bringing it up to the to the surface. So, because they have to live and breathe it. It's what inspires them. It's their big why. It's their mission. It's not mine. You know, I could come up with a narrative and say, okay, and use that. But it really needs to come from them. It is them they who bring this business to life, and it's not being just a consulting to present a narrative or a plan, yeah, that is put into action. So I guide, I support, and I'm here to help them clarify and give them a hand on the journey. So and especially when they are the face of their own company. So that's basically what I do. So I really empower them to unleash what they don't know they have, yeah, just to make it clear for them. And so that's what I do. And then I also have one-on-one exclusive coaching in personal branding. So it's really understanding their own personal brand, who they are, and then bringing that to shine. And what I do for corporates, it's also kind of within the personal development program. So personal branding in the context of organizations. So it's leading as a personal brand in the context of the corporate brand. And my value to the companies is their employees' greater, let's say, self-awareness and empowerment to be their best. It's really that the leaders understand what value they and the employees can offer to the company, yeah, and to make the company thrive. Because behind every organization are human beings, and they make an organization, a brand, strong in the market. Yeah? And when they are knowledgeable of what they can bring to the table, then you can really tap into the full potential. Yeah, unless, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is really something that I do, and this is what makes company brand strong. It all starts with the employees, with them being empowered, with them knowing who they are and how they can best serve in the alignment with the company's vision, mission, and values. yeah, to ultimately best serve their clients again, especially in a service oriented company where you offer the service, where you offer an experience. Think about Starbucks, think about all these companies where you like to go there because you feel comfortable there. Yeah, you feel like I have to go, I have to support the brand. I feel great wearing that brand, using the brand, whatever. Yeah, it's very often that through that brand you identify yourself. It is an extension of yourself, right? So it's all about making the customer feel something about you, and that starts with each individual as an employee in the organization. Yeah.
I would imagine that if a company was having a hard time with morale, with their employee morale, that having some personal branding work done with their employees so their employees feel better about themselves and how they can contribute to the company, then it just improves the morale of the whole company.
Exactly. And it really starts with the onboarding. It's who really is the best fit for you as a company, and also for you as someone who is applying for a job. It's really about how do you feel walking into that company premises? How do you feel like being in that organization? And there needs to be this cultural fit, you know, the value
Yeah.
system. So the underlying values that the organization is living by and that you live by, they have to be in sync. Otherwise, it will not work long term. Yeah, so that's why I left
Yeah.
this one company I was talking about right after I did my master's degree. It was a leadership style, autocratic leadership style. Uh, yeah, leading by fear. And I don't want to get up and being afraid that when I show up there, that this is going to be a disaster or that I'm getting punished for I don't even know why. It's yeah, there needs to be this fit, and the awareness of that every human being has something unique what he or she is bringing to the table, and that needs to be cultivated and that needs to be appreciated. I mean, imagine
Yeah.
the world if we are focusing more on that and not on this person slack or whatever they are not having, and they are not good enough because of, we are focusing so much on criticizing others than valuing and appreciating what uniqueness we have that we bring to that table.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Um, do
Ah.
you have do you have a something that you've added to your business lately that you're really excited about?
Yeah,
Is there
this one-on-one exclusive personal branding coaching. It's a 10-session coaching for women done being the best kept secret. Girls, ladies, this is it, Yeah. Who really want to
oh,
become a shining personal brand. And everyone has that specific thing, that singular thing that makes you shine and being different. And I want to bring that out or help my clients to bring that out of them. And there is one more thing. It's I gonna launch in the next couple of months. I'm not quite sure when exactly and how it fits into my schedule. It's that, but as a workshop style course that spans over 4 weeks. It's a kind of personal branding course. It's also interactive, high quality, high touch with community, live classes, Q&A sessions, hot seats, office hours, also for women, than being the best kept secret. And I do that because it's interesting. There are some that prefer one-on-one. They want full attention and this exclusively. Yeah. And there are others, they need to belong. They need to belong, exchange their needs, wants, fears, experiences, how to do it, with like minded people who go through the same thing. So they need this kind of sphere, the community with, let's say, accountability partners who help them during this sensitive time, because it's really hard work. And when you have partners, you really to walk that path. It becomes easier because you have each other's back. You lift each other up, and yeah, you're going through tough times, and it helps to have people around you that cheer you up. But then there are others again, they need the one-on-one because they are really, they want to do it fast, and they need that guidance, they need the helping hand that is always here with email support. And so everyone is different, so I want to offer this program in different formats.
I love it. Yeah, something for everyone. And I think, I mean, I didn't realize this until farther into my entrepreneurial path, that you can read all the self-help books that you want, but you're not going to get as much out of your growth and your becoming the better person that you can be without someone helping, either one-on-one or in a group. You always get more than you could on your own.
Yeah, because sometimes you need a shoulder other than your own one, and other than people in your environment, friends, family. There's people out there that go through the same thing. It's people that really understand you, that understand your business, and this is a different support, yeah, than yeah. So either you have a coach or a psychologist or a group of people. So it's nice to have someone who has gone through that, and partners, a team, a community who is going through that with you. So
Yeah.
everyone is different, and some are fine just with reading books, but and I think the more options we have, and the better understanding we have of ourselves, how we best learn, how we best level up, how we can be the best version of ourselves. It's great to know what we need, and I find it beautiful that there's so many options out there which we can choose from. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Mm.
And so your company, Brigitte Brands,
Ah,
what's the branding story behind Brigitte
okay,
Brands?
good. So actually, yeah, naming a company is not always easy. I mean, a lot of people go with their name first. I also have my last name registered in the company register. It's Dr. Bojkowszky Consulting. But I couldn't go with the name because who remembers Bojkowski, and who can spell it, and who can pronounce it? No one. So this was a no-brainer to not do it, right? So then I came up with brand fit, and then brand fit was like, okay, that can be confused with the fitness and nutrition or whatever sphere in the industry. So that was also not a go, and others already jumped on this bandwagon. So, and I'm glad others did and not I. So I came up with, and everybody calls me Bridget, all around the world, all the people, because Brigitte is a very German, Swedish kind of thing. And then there's Brigitte, that's the French version, and Bridget is kind of very universal. So, and I like that, I have to admit. And then I was like, okay, branding, and why not combining the whole thing? There's BridgetBrands. And it's it has richness because it's full of meaning, it means something. You can kind of tell a story about it. And BridgetBrands, so I brand others, but BridgetBrands is also an umbrella name for other brands that are sub-brands or so-called individual brands under the umbrella BridgetBrands, like BrandsTalk is an individual brand, belongs to BridgetBrands. Yeah. So I can kind of extend, and through that family, or we call it parent brand or umbrella brand, into other individual brands. So Bridget Brands, BrandsTalk. Yeah. And can add on, let's say, if I have a newsletter or this or that. So there would be other sub brands or individual brands I can add on to that. So it's kind of founder's name, but also it's lexical because there's a wordplay integrated with BridgetBrands, right? and it's also descriptive. So yeah, that's how I came up with it.
I love it. I love it. I absolutely love all of the things about that name. So I was very excited to ask you that question.
Yeah, there's always a branding story behind. It's fun to see how brand names are created. Actually, yeah. But it was
Yeah.
a long path. It was lots of thinking. I can remember I was on a fitness camp or sports camp in Thailand, and because I like Muay Thai boxing, and after a hard boxing day, I was getting a massage, and I was lying on this massage table with my face down. I was like, okay, how should I call my company? So what is the best brand name? And I was like, what should I call it? What should I call it? I remember that time. So it's really a process. And yeah, I think it's important to get a lot of feedback from others to just get more perspective into it. Yeah, to have a more holistic view on naming, because you always, very narrow-minded. You can't get out of your own trap, basically. So you need to be inspired also by others and see how that can to be woven into your brainstorming.
Yeah. Yeah. Boy, do we get into the weeds in our head. And we need
Yeah,
someone who gives us the
yeah.
much
I mean,
broader
there's a
perspective.
lot of do's and don'ts when it comes to naming, but that would be another session. So maybe I do a
Yeah.
episode about it.
That would be, I would love that because I
Okay.
had quite the journey with naming my business
I,
too. And I found it fascinating.
yeah, and HipMaps is just unbelievable. I interviewed you on yours, so that is also a great story.
Thanks.
Yeah, maybe the listeners
Um,
can comment on our life and tell their story of how they came up with their brand name, or just write us an
yes.
email. That would be fun to read that.
I love to hear those stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, so switching to more personal brands, you are a powerful personal brand. Um, what does it mean to you to be a personal brand? And do you have any advice of how we can strengthen our own personal brands?
Oh, wow. Yeah, thank you for you said I'm a powerful personal brand. Yeah, let's say powerful is I think you can also say relevant, because when you're relevant,
Mm.
powerful, because even though maybe you are impacting only one person, you're already powerful and you make a difference for that person. So it usually starts very small. Um, yeah, I would say so. Your question was again to uh,
Well, what does it mean to be a personal brand? And do you
yeah,
have any advice of how we can strengthen
yeah.
our
So
own personal brands?
everyone is a personal brand, first of all. Yeah, so everybody has a brand, and innately, it's not good or bad. It's more really being aware of it. It's the awareness that you have and what you do about it, about you, about your being. And at long last, you want others to perceive you as being relevant in their lives, especially if you are a business owner, if you are playing a role in a company. So some shine stronger than others. So the choice basically that you have is to decide how strong you want your personal brand to shine, and how powerful, how relevant you want your brand to be from another person's perception. And that is the key.
Mm,
It is the perception that matters. So how you express yourself is how others perceive you. Yeah. And perceptions define your brand.
yeah.
Your personal brands. You can also say your brand identity. That's who you are, how you express yourself, how you present yourself to the world. That is how others then perceive you. Yeah. So the way others perceive you is the brand image that you have created through your brand identity in the market. Yeah. So in order to shine, your identity needs to match and need to be in sync with the brand image that you create in the market. So you need to make sure you are in control of what you are sending out, And that again is the reflection that people have on you. That's then the brand image. So it's your reputation in the market. And yeah, it's really, that's why it is so crucial how you show yourself to the world. Yeah. And
Mm.
yes, and um, don't let others define you. And others define you if you are not clear with yourself. Then you give room to the others to make sense of you. And that might not be favorable. Yeah. So a personal brand is what you stand for and the difference you make in other people's lives. Yeah. It's really
Mm.
the sum total of the audience's experiences with you through the interactions, the memories they have about you. It's what they think, what they say, and most of all, what they feel about you. It's all about the feeling that you
Mm.
elicit in the others with you being present, with what you have to say, what you bring to the world, how you express yourself, how you present yourself. Yeah. And everyone is different. We are all unique. We are not one more of the same, even if society tells us, yes, we are all equal in one sense, but we all have something to give. We have all something to offer. And that's, we might offer the same products and services, but the differentiating aspect is your humanity. Yeah, it's your character. That's how you are, how you communicate and offer your products and services and experiences to your clients, or who you are at the end in your private life, you know. So a strong personal brand is memorable. It stands out. It tells a story. You know, it highlights its expertise. That's what it is. Yeah, and
Yeah.
it is when you are at your best, and that is also called your sweet spot. Yeah. And that is made of the secret sauce. It's your experiences, it's your knowledge, your know-how, and then your character, your human being that makes the difference, you know? And that is the uniqueness. It's difficult to be copied by someone else. It's your singular thing that you bring to the world. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. So it's really your humanity blended with your experiences, with your know-how capabilities, and with your expertise. And you also asked me what we can do to strengthen our personal brand. So very quickly, I want to mention that. Be courageous. So get out there, step into your power, own your voice, and own your brilliance. This uniqueness that you have, show it to the world. You have something to say that is important, and even it is important for one individual person. You made an impact to one person out there in this life. So that means something, you know? And I know it takes courage to do so, but especially when you walk on unknown terrain. If something is new to you know, we always worry, waiting for the perfect time, especially people who are in this perfectionist trap. It doesn't get you anywhere. Yeah, the perfection is the lowest standard insofar that you're not taking action. Nothing is happening. So take action and do it in, it doesn't need to be perfect. And that's what also you are saying, Rachel. Yeah, this imperfection connects the people. Yeah, we are fraught with fear. Oh my God, if I fail today, what do people think about me? Be unapologetically authentic. No matter what other people say, what he says, she says, you are not them, they are not you. They should have the courage to get out there and do what you're doing. Yeah. So think about that. So don't wait for the perfect timing. There will never be the perfect time, and there is always the perfect time. Yeah. So forget about being perfect, because also perfection is the enemy of authenticity. So if you're not being courageous, you're not in your true self, and then yeah, you're not getting out there. Nothing is happening, and um, yeah, there's always the risk of something. Yeah, but when you're not doing it, it doesn't get you anywhere, and usually it's not as bad as you think it is. And usually, what did I make up? What kind of stories did I make up to protect or to hold myself back to walk that talk, to go it. Yeah. And
Yeah.
tightly connected to that is also the vulnerability. Yeah, so we are vulnerable. We are afraid of getting unfavorable feedback, showing ourselves to the world, and so that comes along with it. But the whole mix of being authentic, being vulnerable, being not perfect, I think that's the blend, that's the mix that makes us a human being, and that makes us connect with other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and I think this has something to do with integrity, because having this courage to show this vulnerability, and in order to really discover ourselves, is the highest form of integrity showing us out there. And that's beautiful. So do not, out there, whoever is listening, do not apologize for being you, because being unapologetically you makes you true. Yeah. And 100%. Yeah, I really believe in that. And it's when people will follow you because they truly see themselves in you. And then you make the real connections. Yeah, and these are the foundations of any powerful business, or let's say powerful and relevant and distinguishable brand. And the more you show yourself as a genuine human being, the more authentic you are, and also the more magnetic you are. You really you are getting to know there's people suddenly showing up, popping up. Yeah, the right people that are here for you and want to do business with you, want to go the next life, um, the next years with you, as partners, as accountability partners, as business partners, as business besties, you name it. Yeah, you can really establish long-term relationships in any respect. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the steps very quickly, to build a brand is really to start with a big vision, and that's where you start your strategy. Have your big why, have your purpose, know your core values that make you authentic, you really, yeah, um, relate to and live by, and know who you are, get external feedback to really understand, integrate what you can need, and what makes you complete, and understand. So if you have a business, your ideal customer inside out. Yeah, and then know how you connect with understanding what's the singular thing that you can provide, nobody else can provide to that specific customer group, and then magnetify with your content. Really know what channels they are on, how you can connect with them, also where you feel comfortable. It doesn't help if you're on TikTok and your client is not, and you feel not comfortable at all. That it also needs to really match and get an understanding of that. Yeah, so I think
Wow.
steps.
That is so much goodness and value packed in there. Thank you. Wow. Fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
so now, because this is like my favorite part of your Brands Talk. The word wrap, I get to do the word wrap with you. So are you ready? Are you ready for word wrap?
I think I'm ready. Okay, what's going to
Okay.
come up?
Okay. Here we go. Brands.
Oh, my favorite. Makes someone irrational.
Oh.
Yeah,
Uh,
your unique blend, your singular thing that makes a difference in people's lives.
Love it. Love it. Um, Accountability.
Mindfulness.
Nice. Fun.
What makes me laugh? There's a lot of things that makes me laugh. Sports, traveling, baking, cooking, you know. Yeah, but it's generally what makes me laugh, you know?
Nice. Yeah, love it. Strategy.
Whew. A strategy is a clear direction of where you are intentionally heading and at what pace.
Wow.
Yeah, it's we are different now. It's the pace. The pace is really important, and that makes a difference. And we need to know where
Yeah.
we are heading, and we have to pivot all the time. You can't nail it, and that's where we go. And then you know, straightforward. You have to basically be agile and respond to changes in the market wherever it comes from.
Yeah. Known or unknown. Okay, last one. Podcast.
Enjoy intentional learning on the go.
Yeah. Yes.
That it
Love
means
it.
to me. I listen to podcasts all the time. Sometimes I just need quietness, but most of the time, whatever, if I cook or whatever I do in the garden, I listen to podcasts, even though in the car. I don't like
Yeah.
radio anymore. I just listen to podcasts.
Yeah. Thank you. This was fun. This was so fun. I really appreciate it. My last question, and then I'll turn it back over to you. You can have your brands talk back. My last question is, what is the best place? What is the best place for people to find you?
Okay, so actually, I'm on all major social media platforms, but I also have a website. It's BridgetBrands.com, or you can also send me an email to bb@BridgetBrands.com. I'm very, very, very active on LinkedIn. It's my preferred platform. I'm also on Insta, I'm also on Facebook, I have a YouTube channel, but I will put everything into our show notes. So you will find
Yes,
everything
yes,
there. Yeah. And also, you can also book a Calendly. So, and yeah, you will find everything in the show notes.
great, great. Thank you so much for allowing me to take over BrandsTalk and ask you questions. This was really fun. I learned so much, and I loved hearing your story. It's
Yeah.
really fantastic.
Thank you so much, Rachel, to turn the tables with me today. It was wonderful. I felt wonderful talking about my story. It's different when you're just doing a solo episode on yourself. But if somebody asks you, interviews you, and thank you for bringing out what makes me me. Yeah, I really appreciate that. You are a fantastic host, and we should do that much more often. Thank you so much. And for the listeners who would like to know more about Rachel LeRoy and her company HipMaps, go to one of my episodes. You find it on all the major platforms under BrandsTalk.
Thank
I put
you.
it into the show notes again, the link to your episode. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. So thank you all for joining this special Brands Talk episode today. Give it your social love and leave your comments below. Did you know you can also listen to the show as a podcast on your go? I guess so. So just follow Brands Talk on your favorite platform. And if you're interested in learning more about my services that I have talked about today, head over to my website, BridgetBrands.com. I hope you will join me again when we dive into the world of brands live or by having me in your earbuds walking that talk. And bye for now. Let's shine. You deserve it. Bye.